Quiney away over the leg side. That's a huge hit.
The Stars have done it. Momentum is a powerful force in cricket.
G'day Stars fans, family and Bobby Maniacs. Welcome to With the Stars, proudly brought to you by Dodo. Welcome Dodo, thanks for having us. As always, reminder that these are the podcasts that are taking you back in time. There's Stars coaches, Stars players and people who are integral to the Stars family. So we've got a very important guest who's integral to the Stars family today. But before we get to the important people, Benny Gibson, Media Manager, welcome back, mate.
The non-important people.
Of course.
Thanks for the intro.
Before we get to the important people.
Kind words. BBL 15, a lot to reflect on. We've had some big guests already and, none bigger than the one to my left today. So
yeah, they
exciting.
do keep getting bigger. Someone who played an important role in the Stars family, less so on the field, a little bit around the nets, but I'll tell you what, off the field, he was a super impressive human. Still is, in fact. Andy Lee, welcome to the program.
Nice to be here, guys. Yes. Well, I can't wait to reminisce. It was awesome when it started. It still is, though.
It still is. It was a great time. People probably sitting there, more so the younger generation who might watch this and only watch the reels part of it, they'll be sitting there going, what's Andy actually done with the Stars? So your title was Chief Hydration Officer. A couple of things with that. How the hell did that come about in the first place? And can you talk me through any conversations around that?
Well, it wasn't originally Chief Hydration Officer. It got
Really?
augmented to that because in the first year, they thought celebrities might play.
That's right.
Yeah, so I was a registered...
Andrew Johns played in the New South Wales,
That's
and then
right.
it came into the franchise. Yeah.
And they thought that the franchise was going to be a bit more silly and less serious than it was. And then the cricket got real good real quick. And so we got sidelined. So I was a registered player in year one. Warney called me and said, hey, do you want to play? We think we'll have celebrities play. Whether they bat or bowl, unsure, but definitely field.
Wow.
And it was
You'd be pumped about that, wouldn't you?
Oh,
You can field, buddy. How good's that?
so that's that first season, as you might remember, Bob. I was training a lot because I was shitting myself that I might have to play.
Fair enough, too.
So that's when, from the very get-go, the pre-season stuff, not that there's a heap of pre-season training that goes on in T20 leagues around the world, because guys come in from everywhere and they get 3 weeks to kind of form a team.
Less now, yeah.
And then off they go. So, yeah, I was waiting for my role, but by game 2, we realised that this league's going to be one of the best in the world. And there wasn't room for probably me out there. And Shippy, the coach at the time, just didn't like the idea of me being there at all.
No, Shippy being conservative. Who would have thought?
We since then got a good friendship. But early on, he just thought, who is this F-wit and why is he around the group? But Warney saw the entertainment, the whole thing, and was desperate to get me on. He kept saying, let's get him on this game, let's get him on this game, particularly his fielding. Obviously, I was going to bat and bowl by then. And Warney liked sneaking off for a ciggy, so he tried to... I was really close one game to getting on because we just ran out of players. We had that many injured, and then and Keefe went walkabout, and Warney wanted a ciggy, and so he ran off and said, go on, Andy, go down deep square leg. And that's when Shippy stepped in and said, no way, you're staying here, and Warney stay on.
Am I right then in saying that when Warney called you, it was you by yourself? Because at one stage, it was you with us, the Stars, and Hamish was with the Renegades.
I think that was the second year. I think
Was that
Hames
second
saw me
round?
do it year, and I can't quite remember, but I think then the Renegades said, this would be a good idea to grab someone as well. Haim was never going to be a player, as you know, Bob. But although he maintains that he was the wicketkeeper captain in under-12s, so he went on to do circus tricks instead of sport later on in school. He's fit now, though.
But he jumped off pretty quick, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, my passion for cricket is just huge, and I met you guys and we became friends really quickly, but I also was in a situation where I was single, no dependents, could travel with the whole team, and Hames got, his wife and all that kind of stuff. So it was different stages in our lives. But yeah, Warney getting me in and a chance to muck around and play golf and go to training with him was pretty awesome.
Yeah, but like you just mentioned there, like you've had this single lifestyle, you've got freedom and flexibility, but it's probably more your passion to cricket as to what sort of kept you involved. Would that be fair?
Oh, absolutely. And so then then I realised I was a glorified water boy so I tried to kind of put some bells and whistles on it by calling it the chief hydration officer. But I mean, a lot of work goes into how everyone's feeling. Shippy realised halfway through that, some people weren't as relaxed heading out there than they could have been.
It was big for him to pick that up back then.
Yes. And players probably play better when they're relaxed. So that probably turned into my role, which was just mucking around and making sure that people are having fun, because we kind of felt like the team played best when they were fun. Fun.
So you built the brand Chief Hydration Officer yourself? Or?
Yeah, I made that myself.
Do you know what the Stars do?
Self-appointed.
The Stars take other people's brands and steal them and use them. Like they've obviously, run with your Chief Hydration Officer. I Saved the Seagull, and then they've created a mascot, which I've seen no royalties for as well. So they're going well, aren't they?
Exactly right.
What's next?
Well, I don't know. I've just started, so I'll see what I'll see what I can steal this season.
New to the game. In and around, like, and I know, with your work, you are around a lot of people with high profile, but you come into a cricket change room, and all of a sudden you're literally sharing a change room with guys like Shane Warne, but also Viv Richards.
Yeah.
Like, talk us through. Like,
I mean, that early year, our team, it was the reason why it was called the Stars. With George Bailey was in there, Voges, Brad Hodge came out a little later, I think. Who else was there?
Warney was there. There was White. There was Hussey.
Yeah.
And Malinga.
Yep. Malinga. That was unreal. Jimmy Faulkner. And then, Maxie came to the second year, I think. Wadey was in there to begin with. Like, the team was awesome. Yeah, I mean, Viv Richards, I grew up being Viv Richards, because in the backyard, my brother and I used to play, and he'd always be Australia because he was the older sibling. I never got to be Australian. So I was Clive Lloyd and Viv Richards.
I was going to say,
so,
what era was this? Because it wasn't the worst time to not be an Australian cricketer there.
It was fine. You got Courtney Walsh and you've got Curtly Ambrose. And so they came just after Viv. But yes, getting to hang with Viv. And what people don't realise is, and what I love about cricket, is you do sit around a lot. And so it is really social, and that's where the bonds happen. So when you guys are fielding, I'm just sitting, me and Viv, just on the bench, cracking each other up. And obviously when the batting came along, I loved seeing Viv kind of switch on, know exactly when to give a little bit of advice. He was a pretty cool cat, wasn't he, Bob?
It was next level. Like, he was someone that he would never proactively go out and say, Benny, I think your back lift's shit. Yeah. Like,
which it was.
Yeah. No comment. Could be. But there were times when we'd have a little camp before the tournament started, and you might be sitting next to Viv on the bus, and you just be picking his brain about stuff, and next thing you know, you're talking about your own game. You're like, how did I get there?
Yeah.
And his ability to do that in a different way. But he's also, as Ando is as well, generous with his time, right? I remember a time, and my wife's family background, nothing to do with cricket and footy, barely anything to do with sport, but I found out that my wife's auntie loves Viv Richards. And I'm like, where's that come from? So one training before Christmas, it's probably this time, 12 years ago. And I said, hey, big man, can you do a video for my, wife's auntie? He goes, yeah, man, no worries. And so you got this video, and I showed it to her, and she was smiling for 3 days after having this video. And that's the impact that he has on people, whether you're involved in cricket or just what he did back in the day. Like, he was phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, and his fielding was unbelievable.
Yeah.
People forget that. So he was really great to have around the group. But there was some surreal times, Benny, because I remember we're over in, I think, Perth ahead of a final, and I've got Viv having a beer. My brother's been invited along. You're there. Liz Hurley arrives with Warney, and it's this strange Barbie where you're like, oh, all these superstars hanging around.
It was odd, and that was pretty normal. I remember walking through airports with Elizabeth and Warney, and they'd have the sunnies on, as you do, because you don't want to make eye contact with people, and just cameras in their face. Like, you try and avoid everything like that, but it was
Bobby was trying to get
crazy.
Hi!
Remember me?
One step behind him.
Now there was a time, Ando, and I was looking at some videos back in the day. And first, I want to apologise because you were so good with your time when I did. I used to do previews and reviews of matches, and you jumped on a couple. And geez, I was stone cold. Like I gave people nothing. Like I thought I must have had like thinking I was at a game face, but you had your smile on like you do now, and you'd be throwing these one-liners, and I should have been laughing and go, yeah, good. And then go to the next one. I was like, I'm giving you nothing. But the point of my story is, when we're interviewing you, you would always talk about if I see someone in the crowd wearing Lee on their playing jersey, I'll give you money. The first person.
Yes.
And I think it started at $250.
Yep.
And then it went to $500.
Yes.
Now, firstly, I can't remember. My memory is horrendous.
It is.
But did you end up forking out any money to people?
Yeah, forked out some money because obviously there's a lot of Warns on the back of tops. Sparingly, you might see a Quiney.
There's three. Two of them are on my kid as well.
Some hussies, and I was like, this is annoying. I mean, at the time, thankfully, I was included on the sheet. There was a big autograph sheet.
Yes.
And so everyone had, Bobby would have had his bat up or left-handed, and then it goes through, and I had 2 water bowls. So it went at the end of the game, I'd go around and the kids would get their sheets signed. So I felt part of the team in that regard. But I didn't see any Lees out on the in the ground. So I did put out a monetary incentive for anyone who went and got Lee on the. There's a few homemade ones. I was like, that doesn't.
No. It needs to be registered. You buy the shirt. You do it properly.
Exactly.
permanent.
I felt like a dad heard it at the ground and quickly got a Sharpie, was just drawing on their kids' backs,
Cash
trying
grab.
to make the money.
Yeah.
What about that when like your kids here and you're like, you want Starstop? Yeah, whose name do you want on there? Do you want Steiner? It's like, no, I want Lee. He's like, who?
Yeah.
Waterboy. So you forked it. Did you
Only
come back-
once. I only had to fork out money once.
The 250?
Yep, 250.
Now,
Yep.
would you consider doing it again for this season?
Oh, absolutely. If there's a Lee out there, $400.
Now, but it can't be the same person that you gave the $250 to last time.
I think that person would have grown out of that shit. Anyway, if I see a 15-year-old, the really tough stuff on.
Well, I'll tell you what, A for effort though, if they did try and do that.
It has to be legit. No homemade jerseys.
So, but we'll probably not need to make it more legitimate. It'll have to be at a game and promote a game that you will be at, so we can see it.
Yeah.
And then once that happens, so what'd you say, $4,000?
400.
400. Sorry, I always get that bit mixed out. Sorry.
The zeros don't matter to you, Bobby.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they do now. I've just moved house, and I'll tell you what, they do more so than anything, mate. We always speak to players about memorable matches that they've been involved in. Obviously, you haven't been out in the field, but geez, you would have remembered a few. I mean, one I'm going to throw at you is the Warney and Samuels match, the derby.
Yeah, I remember it really well because the game was drifting for us, and before it all happened, I've had an interaction that I don't think anyone knows about. I've run out to Warney, and it was great with when Warney was captain. He'd always ask me whether he cared what I thought, but I'd run out the drink, and he'd go, "Who do you think I should bowl next? Or what do you reckon I should do?" And so we did talk about tactics a lot because being a cricket nuffy, I loved trying to learn what we're trying to achieve. So I'd offer up something. Often it was pretty simple, Malinga.
He's already bowled 4, and you've got someone else.
Yeah, Malinga with a wig on. So, but at that time, I ran out the drinks, and Warney goes, "The game's drifting. We're going to lose this if we let it drift." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And he goes, "I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to do something. I have to shake this up." So I was like, "All right."
Yeah, good plan. That's what I was going to say.
So I run off thinking, what the hell is he going to do? And that was what I found really fascinating. And as I reflect on that moment, is that Warney's obviously brilliant with ball in hand, but also could read the game just better than most, and the psychological part of it was really important to him. And you see great competitors do that across all teams. Jordan was a bit the same.
Yep.
Is just work out how to, if you're not winning in the traditional way, well, how can we get a psychological edge?
To disrupt something.
Yeah, so that's what he did. And so suddenly it's the end. Do you want to grab some people, Marlon? You want to grab
Well, that was actually born off him being a good listener as well, because Dave Hussey came off the ground in the first innings, Gibbo. Marlon was only doing it as a joke, but like Huss would run to
Yeah, he was trying to ground his bat
and sort of turn back, and and Marlon just grabbed his shirt thinking he was like joking around, but. Firstly, Huss doesn't have been touched at the best of times. And secondly, there was another run potentially to be had. So, he's like, Marlon, get off me.
Yeah. So Warney's aware of that situation.
Well, mostly because, Huss would piss and moan when he comes back in the change room. Sorry, he would explain the situation when he gets back in the change room.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he just goes, and the other thing with Warney as well is that it probably all the worlds collide because there's potential that he may not have liked the way Marlon was rolling.
Yep.
Just in general, he's got Huss, he's got the game, is flittering away like you said, and go, hey, I can kill all birds here, and then and have a crack. It was phenomenal.
So then he throws the ball into Marlon, pretending he's throwing it back to the bowler, and then sorry, and then Marlon I think tosses his bat.
Yeah, throws a DK Lilly style.
Yeah, and they're having words, and it's starting to really bubble. And so the over goes again. I'm back out there, drinks, and Warney's like, we got it. He's feeling this thing. And then Malinga bowls that ball which is a horrific ball. Like I think it went through between the peak of the lid and the grill and fills Marlon in. And that's the end of Marlon's game, which none of us expected to happen, and you don't want that to happen to any other player.
You don't want the physicality of it, the intimidation element of it is obviously always there, always has been, but you don't want it to actually pierce a helmet.
No, but I do wonder, with all the lead up and the emotion stuff, did that mean that Marlon's a split second off where he would normally be or was expecting? Because it all kind of grew to this moment, which is pretty full on.
And then the aftermath of the game, what's that like when everyone comes off the field?
Warney's good at kind of making the most of situations out there, but leaving it out there. Would you agree, Bob? You didn't see him dwell or complain in the dressing room very long after. He'll come back and be disappointed if we've lost, but he was chin up kind of guy. I reckon really good for your team in that regard.
Well, I reckon that he would have his people that he'd vent to. I reckon I saw him once in the change rooms where he's disappointed, but generally he'd be in his car. I guarantee you he'd get in his car, he'd ring someone and go, Jesus, that was shit tonight, wasn't it? But in front of us, he just kept exuding positivity and still some ruthlessness, but definitely some positivity. Someone who's probably a little bit less ruthless, up and down with positivity. Someone like James Faulkner is so good to have around the group.
Yeah,
he always gravitates to the people of profile. So you were one early doors. Malinga didn't speak much English. I can't now either. But he didn't sort of. Warney was out of Warney's pocket because he was playing with Watto somewhere else. Yep. Lukey Wright was there. Then, KP come in. Again, it was Gotchi in one pocket, Jimmy Faulkner in the other.
Yes.
Can you run through your perceptions of Jimmy and your experiences with him through the time at the Stars?
He was super young when he arrived, didn't he? Had swagger. He's that kind of fun arrogance, which you like in players. People, though, would think that he's a bit of a larrikin off the field or a bit wild, but he was pretty focused back then. I remember I had a big New Year's Eve party, open house party, which had just like lots of people there. And Jimmy left. We brought in the New Year, and then Jimmy turned to me and said, "I got to go." And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "I really want to play well in a few days." And I was like, I didn't expect. I kind of thought he might be the one cleaning up with me.
Yeah. You had this grand plan to mate. You're leaving about 4 hours too early. Yeah.
And a mediocre ice, he was known as a finisher for our one-day team there for a while. And so, could bowl, could bat, pretty awesome to have around. Obviously, people go in and out of spells of form, and when you're out of when you do have swagger, when you're out of form, I reckon that must be really difficult for you, because a lot of those people, when they've got swagger, when they're going well, they can feel invincible, and when it dips, I reckon that must be a challenging time.
Well, he didn't show his insecurities to too many people. That was his thing. He had a bit of a force field on, and I know he confided in blokes like a Cam White at times with his batting. But you get on the bus after we've lost the game, and you wouldn't even know we lost the game. You'd walk in and go, "Cuck, what are you up to? Where are we going tonight?" You're like, well, I was going to chill out for a little bit. No, but stuff it. No, we're going out, you know. You had that infectious just on you. And so he made you, at times in the change rooms, he made you just smile. He'd walk into the room and you go, oh, what's he got for us today?
Yeah. And in the change rooms, you had the opportunity to address the team on multiple occasions. How did you take on that opportunity?
Oh, well, yeah, it became kind of tradition, didn't it, Bob, that I was the last to speak to you guys before.
For a home game.
For a home game.
Especially a home game or an away, like final or something.
Yeah, last to speak to the team before they went out. So Shippy found that odd early on, but then realised that, you know, get everybody focused, and then, you know, then I'd get up and do something. And often it was with a guitar and a song that I would play for the team. There were numerous ones, some that aren't appropriate to talk about. But I mean,
While you're thinking, like, I was looking through my messages last night just to go, like, was there any photos or anything like that? And I remember you messaged me something. It's like, who's got a worse arm, Beery or there was someone else? and I can't remember what I said. You like, thanks. And then I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, no, all good. You'll find out tomorrow. And it's that kind of stuff so Ando's ability to obviously play guitar is pretty cool. But then the lyrics that go with it, strum up a tune and absolutely rip shreds off all of us.
Generally, it would be just to rip shreds through everybody. I mean, I wrote a song about Zampa when he used his head to do the run out. I think my favourite though was in the pre-season function, just a team meet kind of thing, where we had signed Michael Clark to be our captain.
That's right.
Yeah. And then Clarkey pulled out. And so I wrote a song about this season will be fine because we've got Michael Clark. How good's Michael Clark? The first three verses. And then had someone interrupt and go, sorry, mate, you didn't hear. We don't have Michael Clark. And then the rest of it was Michael Clark. 2 verses about how I bloody hate him.
But that's so, like, you get that before a game. So Shippy's got this whiteboard full of, the whole thing's full of team list, strategies, plans, dimensions. And then all of a sudden, like, it'd be so hard for him the first couple of times to hand over to Ando as the last word. But we walk out and just go, oh, how good's this? We're good to go. Like, it was amazing.
On top
Even
of
if you were the person that got shredded.
Yes.
Amazing.
Okay, so I've brought a hat here, Ando.
Yes.
And for those playing at home, Mancads versus Beamers. So we were fortunate enough, I'm going to claim that we invited you. I know Warney did, but we invited you into our cricket community. You were generous enough to invite a couple of us into your cricket community.
Yep.
Can you touch on the Mancads and Beamers and where that stemmed from?
Yeah, this is a sacred hat in my circles.
That actually sits with my St Kilda hat, my Victorian hat, and my Australian hat. It all sits together.
Right next to the baggy green.
Yeah. My brother's mates versus my mates. Brother's 3 years older, so they started to run out of, growth hormone, I suppose. So injuries, they were good for one match. Used to be a tri-match series. So 3 matches in every summer, about at least 4 weeks off in between if we could. And we were the Mancads, and they were the Beamers, the blue hat, and the Mancads, and the Beamers in the red hat. And we were allowed 1 international. It's very similar to the way that the structure works in the BBL. You're allowed a certain amount of international players in, and so we had Bobby as a Mancad, who performed particularly well. The Beamers,
I get so nervous in those games too. Like that's more. I get more nervous than as a Stars game. Yeah.
Petey Hanscom was a Beamer. At one point, Johnny Hastings was standing at square leg umpire, and my dad is my dad.
He was,
yeah. But we had this one game where we were playing in this oval in Clifton Hill, and Bobby is just starting to see them, and he's hit this 6 that's landed on this guy's roof, and we're like, oh gee, that's no good. And I was scoring at the time. And the guy's come out and he's really angry. There's a dent in the top of the roof and he's yelling, you're going to have to pay for it. I was like, yeah, sure, mate. I've just got to, we'll talk about it later because I've got to score. You know, we had the old scorebook system.
The green one,
you can't
put the
look,
dots in.
You can't look away, you know. So this guy's yelling at me. I'm like, hey, forget about it. Yeah, well, leave your details. I'll sort it out later. As Bobby clips another one, and it's falling so well short, but the ground there has not a fence, but just the piping that goes around.
Like a steel piping.
Steel pipe kind of fence with singular uprights every kind of 3 meters. It lands on the piping, goes up in the air, and lands on the guy's roof again. And he said, you did that on purpose. Like, there's no way anyone could have done that on purpose.
So I reckon he's come on after I've gone out and he's come around and Ando's scoring and Hamish is sorting out. I don't know why Hamish is off the field, but he was getting his keeping pads on because he was going to start keeping. And they're like, listen, just it's fine. Like, we're going to be here for another 2 hours. Come back. We'll have insurance. We'll sort it out. No worries. And he goes, okay, come back. And then he looks at Hamish. He goes, do we have insurance? And he goes, I don't know. So we need to wrap this up in an hour and a half instead of 2 hours.
You clearly played a bit of cricket. I've got some vision here of what is just a sensational catch. Playing in New Zealand. Can you talk us through this one?
Elliott comes in and bowls, and this is again teed off in the air, but there's a fieldsman underneath it. Oh, what a catch! Brilliant! Andy Lee, what a gem!
Yes, well, that's Grant Elliott bowling, and they're on top of us at the moment. It's the black clash, where the current All Blacks, which is crazy, the current All Blacks play against ex-cricketers.
Wow.
Now, the All Blacks is probably their number one national team, you'd say, and they're happy to risk injury and let them play.
And they go hard, probably, no doubt.
Yeah, and look, kind of like in Australia with New Zealand, a lot of the kids play footy and cricket growing up, and so you've got some really good cricketers that are in the All Blacks, and they could have probably picked either. So Geordie Barrett was batting then, good cricketer. He had hit a few sixes. He'd hit me for 6 at one point. And he's got under one. It's just scooped it. It's gone so high. And I'm running in from the boundary, and all I can hear is Jacob Oram.
Yep.
He's going, get back! Get back!
Is he South African now?
Well, whatever the New Zealand accent is. Close enough. Anyway, he's right. So I start backing back, and I think it's got big on me. But yeah, put both hands up and managed to stay inside the rope. And took it. And obviously, whenever I'm in New Zealand, because it's the most watched sporting match of the year each year over there.
Wowzers.
So whenever I'm in New Zealand, I get people at the airport going, that catch.
But it was a phenomenal catch.
Yeah.
Like, even if you were a Glenn Maxwell, you're still saying, wow, like that was an awesome catch. Like, sure, at what stage were you backing the ball?
Oh, the ball the whole time. But it was, I mean, one thing that I relatively confident with, as Bobby knows, is fielding. It's we used to in the warm-ups, muck around catching and fielding training and so on. So I never expected to be able to wander back and take that. The other interesting part about that game was the All Blacks were allowed to have one international, and they had Jay Wardner. So I got to bowl to Jay Wardner, which was awesome. And the pitch was doing heaps. So I'm looking heaps better than I am. As Jay Wardner.
As in, like, it was seaming.
Yeah, so Jay Wardner's missing, and I'm and so I'm in his ear. But it came down to they needed, I think, 3 off the last ball to win. May have been 2. And I was on the boundary at kind of deep mid wicket, and my shoulders stuffed. So if it went along the ground, they're going to run 3. But thankfully, he's hit it in the air, and I've taken
an easy one.
I took an easy catch to win us the match. But what they didn't realise, that if that had bounced, it would have been the most embarrassing day of my life. So I would have tried to run it back in.
The Shane Harwood did that for a while. All the under.
Corny Walsh as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get the ball back to the keeper.
So you could clearly bowl. You spent a lot of time in the nets bowling to the Stars boys. Did you trouble many of the batsmen?
I mean, the funny thing about bowling in the nets, the Stars, was like, obviously, Malinga, for instance, he'd come in and he'd bowl, I reckon, 8 to 12 balls tops per training. He'd come in and bowl slow ball bouncer, fast bouncer, slow ball Yorker, fast Yorker, then one on a length. And then if any of those 5 didn't hit, he'd try 2 more of those. Done.
Yeah.
Straight to the massage table. But there's all these blokes padded up waiting to to practice. The good bowlers would bowl to the good batsmen. Then they're done. They'd had enough. And so the bowlers would want to have a practice bat, and that's when I'd come in and bowl. So as far as troubling any of the batters, nah. Watching Maxi smash me and Hodgie and that.
You don't need that coming back. Although there was a time when I think you had to try and get Hodgie out in the nets one stage.
Oh, I used to bowl to them all the time, but they just smash me. Like they're just too good. But then you realise, and that's what I think is great about our great game of cricket. The bowlers have to bat. Yeah. And so Squiddy and I used to have heaps of great battles. Clint Mackay, he might hit.
So
me
did you
one.
bat?
I only batted once because I wanted to face Malinga. And so
first person I've heard say that.
Yeah, imagine, I was trying to get out of there.
So and Faulkner was coming out of the nets, and Jimmy's like, "You're mad, mate. I don't know when you want to be in here." At one point, Malinga had changed nets to Jimmy's because Jimmy would try and avoid him and go, and he's like, "I want to bowl the ball to Jimmy."
To follow him.
And Jimmy went. We used a different word, but buzz off.
Yeah.
He's like, buzz off, go to the other net. I don't want to face you. So I wanted to know what this feeling was like. So I'm fully padded up. And I'd taken a few balls in like a little warm up on the side, probably just throwdowns from Huss or something. And I've walked down, and Malinga's like smiling at me.
That's all he did, wasn't
it? Yeah, sit there, smile. And I said, and I'm facing up, and Faulkner's into me going, "Get out of there! You don't want to do this." And so I said, "Oh, can I just watch one then, Lattis? Can I watch one just before I face?" So I kind of stepped away, and just saw it go flying past, and went, "Don't worry about it.
I'm good."
I'm good enough." So I chickened out, which is one of my great regrets. I should have just sat there and taken it. But
It was one thing when Benny and I were talking, he goes, "You did a lot of bowling, but you didn't get in the nets." And he was keen to know, like, how much of it was choice. And you've explained it really well. Like, there are times in rotations where you actually need someone to bowl to you as well.
Yeah, people would be there. And we'd have like kids come down from district cricket to kind of feel out the bowling situation so they could bowl to bowlers. But yeah, nicked off Clint heaps of times. He was he was my bunny.
We probably need to get Clint back on.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's times when
he glossed over that.
Yeah, correct. There's times where he goes. I think Huss said, he goes, "Oh, he got smacked one day. He went for 30, and it wasn't great." And then I got C-Mac on. I go, "You know what Huss is like? Sometimes he embellishes." He said he got hit for 30 in 2 overs. And he goes, "Oh, it's probably more than that." Yeah. So I want to go back to New Zealand and. Recently, you played golf and you're such good at golf. I played a game of golf with him, and that was probably the last one we played at Peninsula. He said, your shaft's a bit, it's not rigid enough, it's too flexible. Have you tried lessons? I said, yeah. He goes, have you tried this? And he goes, look, I'll just shut up. But you obviously played a high standard, but so high, you obviously hit a hole in one recently as well. And your first one?
First one, only one. Best day of my life. And I said that to Beck. When we get married next year, that'll be the second best day of my life.
That's fair.
I'm so sorry, Charlie. But I was playing. It kind of reminded me of Warnie because he used to love betting. In general, like obviously with poker and stuff, but on the golf course, he used to love anything to put extra pressure on people because he thrived under pressure. And I don't really like gambling, so I'd always just done a tense up. And I was playing against these Americans. Over in a golf course in New Zealand, and they were betting, and I had this putt, like a 6-foot putt the hole before, that if I made it, I'd win the money. If I 3-putt it, I'd lose the money. 2-putt was going to be square.
Yep.
And it was quite a fast green, and so I just kind of lagged it up there. And
break even.
Had to break even, and the American's like, "Oh my God, he's lagged it! Oh God, what a pussy! Oh my God!" And so they're into me, and we go to this next par 4, which is kind of like 275 meters up the hill. And on this hole, I always just take out a 5-iron and lay up, and then try and hit it on. And they're like, "What's the wuss gonna do now?"
Oh, this is great.
And so I was like, "Oh, shit, I better take driver now after I've just been ribbed for the last kind of 3 minutes."
It's par 4.
Par 4, up a hill, and hit a good one, thankfully. And it just kind of a high draw, it just landed short and came up on and rolled up one side of the green, little bowl green, came back down. We're like, "Oh, this has got to be close."
So you didn't know at the time. You're just
know.
thinking it's within a few meters.
Yeah, well, you have no idea because it's so far away. And then we're walking up.
Must be nice.
Runs, and it's a flat wheel. No, I was doing it fair. I was doing plenty.
And then we had caddies on the day. And caddy was up ahead, ran up ahead just to see where it was. and I've seen him take the pin out and do the Warney dance at Old
No, he
Trafford.
did not.
wow.
Did he?
Yeah, he did this. and that's when we're like, I think this must be in. So yeah, it was a triumphant day on the, and I got to turn back to the Americans and give them high eyebrows.
That's awesome, and hopefully more to come after that. Simon O'Donnell did 2 in a day.
I heard that.
It's
And
extraordinary.
one was an albatross as
Yeah,
well.
you're ridiculous.
Yeah. It was a small course though.
So sticking with golf, yeah, correct. Anyone can get a hole in one there. Cricketers are known golfers, myself excluded. But who would be up there? So if you can think about the better golfers from the Melbourne Stars, but then also if there weren't too many from there, like just cricketers in general.
Well, nowadays Dan Christian's trying to, really make a fist of it. So when Dan finished cricket, him and I played a lot. He was off 12. I was off 11. I was off 12. He's now off +1, and I'm not really near
11.
that. So he used to play a lot with Whitey, Duck.
Yep, Johnny Holland. Yeah,
I think he's off 1
Yep.
or scratch. He can really play. Maxie's got great hand-eye, 0 course management, kind of like the way he plays cricket.
I should be able to drive this hole.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So yeah, as soon as you're with him, you can go. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen anyone hit the green from here. Oh, really? So yeah, I mean, Warney always was there about 11, but when money was on the line, you couldn't beat him.
You doubled down a lot, didn't he?
Yeah. Paddy Cummins takes the smallest amount of time over a golf ball before hitting it.
Love it.
Yeah, he'll be chatting to you, and you'll think he's paused for a breath, but it's actually just to hit the ball, and then off he goes. Starkey has that left-hander, and hits these huge levers that they can get it out there a bit. So no, I mean all the cricketers love it. Sab, Silky.
You've mentioned a couple of Aussie cricketers as well, and through vicariously the Stars, you've actually built some really good friendships with those in the Aussie team as well. One of them being the captain.
Yeah.
Now, my dealings with him have been few and far between, but have just been amazing. Like, he seems like such a great guy. How many ads is he on currently?
That's what I said. I rang him one day. I go, what do you do? He goes, I've got a day of ads. It's so he's well, I think what's interesting, what I didn't realize was I think that the Australian cricket team have obligations to the sponsors for the tour or the series. And so you get picked out of those, which aren't necessarily, you don't get remunerated for it.
They've got marketing contracts, so
There you go.
that you get points for it and then remunerated.
Yeah, so I think you might line up your own, like New Balance. I think would be one for Paddy or Gillette that are his own sponsorship. But then you stack on all the other obligations, so suddenly it becomes quite a day of acting.
That's solid.
Oh yeah, I was calling him De Niro for a while there because he's getting more screen time than anyone.
I just like how he's taken it to another level in terms of his ability to, like, the Westpac is Hazard, and then he's like, we're out of here, and his face just changes. And I think there's another one where it might be Woolworths. There you go. There's another one doing for Woolworths, and they're throwing. She pretends to throw something, and he's like. And the serious face. I'm like, mate, he's got 2
Good
levels
acting
going
chops.
at the moment. He's going really well.
Well, I mean, it's one of my favourite things every summer is to see the bad acting from the cricketers. I always look. I mean, obviously, you've just got the standard ad, which is hit whatever is the problem is for 6.
Yep.
So hit Havey for 6.
Yeah.
With Telfast or whatever.
100%.
Yeah, and so I like to count how many of those. At the moment, I think Travis Head's saying hit something for 6.
But yeah, have you got any more questions, Gibbo? Because Ando's got to
Pretty
leave
conscious of
soon.
time, so let's throw to this last segment.
This last one, Ando, again, this is Dodo have been amazing in general, but also for this podcast. So this segment here is called Let's Get Real. Let's get real.
Okay.
Let's get real. Brought to you by Dodo, the real deal for internet and mobile. To check out more, head to dodo.com.au. Dodo.com.au again. Now, the most pinch yourself moment during your time with the Stars. So whether it's an aha moment, whether it's a moment you go, holy moly.
I mean, it's got to be sitting there chatting to Warney about a game plan or something. and you're going, why the hell do you care what I think? But he was whether he did care about what I think or whether he just likes making people feel like they're included. That was definitely pinch yourself.
But that was him though, wasn't it? He made, even if you knew him for like, if you were in the change room with him and he'd only met you that day, he'd make you feel like you'd been teammates for about 2 years.
Yeah.
The most intense moment you faced whilst you're at the Stars? Were you on the end of a spray? Like, sporting environments can be tough. Was there ever a moment where you thought, oh?
Nah, not really. I mean, it was all a bit of a laugh, wasn't it? We had some pretty brutal losses. I mean, the most intense moment was when we'd won the semi-final in Perth. I'd run on the ground as well. And it was called a no ball because we had too many outside the circle. Right. And so we had to bowl it again. So that was certainly the most tense I've seen the locker room as well, where, you know, you've done all the hard work and just one little error about not having enough people inside the circle is what cost you the game.
Well, especially that was like the fourth time or third time that we'd been in that situation against that same team at that same location, and we thought we've got it. And
then Hussey slapped the last ball over the top for 4.
Yeah. That was definitely the most intense feeling, and there was a period of probably only an hour or 90 minutes where no one really was talking to each other at all, and I think for fear of blaming someone and regretting it, so it was just dead silent.
It's almost like the sleep on it moment for that little period of time.
Which was wise, you know, and I was at that point kind of just circling around to different people just to kind of check the temperature.
It would have been hard for you, mate, because your job is to sort of, you go to the 1 or 2 people that you know will open up a bit quicker, and you're like, and they're like,
nah. So I started with Warney, and we just talk about what might have gone wrong, and he had his theories, and then Whitey, I think, was the one outside the circle, so, you know, good friends with Cam, so just kind of went across and had a chat to him and kind of got his perspective, and, you know, it was probably a bit different to Warney's. So, yeah, it was just important to kind of make sure. I think those moments in any type of work, when something's gone really wrong, and obviously it's just a cricket match, opposed to when other lines of work, when something goes wrong, serious accidents can happen. But there's that period where people really need to have their own space. And it was definitely a moment where I was like, I'm not going to pull the guitar out here. I'm just going
we f***ed it up again. It's only 4 times. Favorite person you worked with? Can't say me. Favorite person you worked with?
Wasn't going to.
And justify any reasoning.
Georgie Bailey. I love Bales. You know, he always has a cheeky grin. Early days, Stars, he was a superstar, and but great manner in the way he approached the game and approaches people. And we were sitting next to each other on the plane back from Perth, I reckon, when he turned to me and said, "I've got a text message. I'm going to play for Australia." He just found that out. It might have even been him. He'll have to correct me on this, but it might have been he might have gone straight in and captain. There was something strange about his. He went straight to the Aussie team, but I think it was captain really quickly.
Well, I think Whitey was captain just before that, and then Whitey went out of the side, the Aussie side, and then I think George came in and captained.
Did he captain immediately?
Not so, pretty soon after he got in there, I think.
It might have been the T20 captain there. He might have. There was something strange about it because I remember the conversation being, "Hey, I'm going to play for Australia, great," and I'm captaining. Or so, it was something strange. I might be conflating 2 combos, but that was. But I love George, and he's doing a great job, I think, with the chairman of selectors. Not an easy role,
no.
And just so much scrutiny. But him and Pat seem to have a good camaraderie as well. So I think for the team, they do really well.
I think you hit nail on the head to finish there, Ando. In George and Ron and Paddy, and Dodders as well. Can't forget leave him out. We trust. I think they make some decisions at the moment. It's always been challenged, but it seems to work more often than not. So we've just jinxed it for Adelaide. But mate, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
Plenty of laughs. The one thing I guess with Ando, Benny's a couple is he's so authentic, so generous. not just to the Stars people in general. And so we're better off having you in our family.
Oh, thanks, mate.
I'm better off knowing you. And these guys are better off listening to you as well. So thanks heaps, mate.
Cheers,
Thank you,
go
Andy.
Stars.